One of the most dramatic pieces of legislation that affected family life took place in the 70s and was called the No-Fault Divorce Law. This law allowed partners to easily get divorced without the requirement to prove that one of them has committed something wrong, such as adultery or abuse. This was a blessing at the time. It saved partners so much hassle at court and liberated people to easily separate when they suffered in marriage. 50 years later, we are beginning to see how that blessing has also become a curse. The ease with which partners can separate is crucial to how they experience conflicts. To understand the impact of this law, we need to understand the mechanism of attachment that is the engine of romantic relationships. This biologically innate mechanism is driven by the survival needs of toddlers for security and belonging, and helps toddler alert parents of their security needs. As trust grows, they become more adventurous and move away from their parents to explore, learn, and grow. This same mechanism gets activated when you fall in love and become attached. You feel joy in finding security, that there is someone in the world who is there for you in times of need. You both cope with life's challenges together. Your intimate partners is your source of security, belonging, and support. And this support is essential for your well-being. But soon you discover that attachment also produces fear, the fear of losing connection. In a healthy relationship between parents and children, security is unconditional, so the child can always trust their parents to be there for them. This is not the case with your adult partner. You cannot take the relationship for granted as you did when you were a child. Now that you understand how your attachment brain is like the conductor of your relationship music, you have a better idea of what happens to you both during conflicts. Loss of connection is a serious threat when so much is at stake. Men often talk about their partner as the center and purpose of their lives because she connects them to society, to extended family, and even to life itself. No wonder making her happy is often a top mission in their lives. Losing her is the ultimate nightmare. Wise partners do their best to guarantee the security of their connection. They keep the vow to stay at each other's side during the hard times. They tolerate and endure frustrations that result from unmet needs. In one large study, people rated the importance of 10 different marital characteristics. Supporting each other through difficult times topped the list. Yet, when the exit door is so accessible and the delusion of a better relationship elsewhere is so seducing, the price you pay is a lack of security in your marriage. Panic kicks in quickly during conflicts. If you build your house on the edge of a cliff, you also live in a constant fear. The slightest tremor in the ground will shake the foundations of that house. This is the meaning of conflict for many couples these days. Conflict equals panic. The tragedy is that this very panic will dictate the course of the conflict and act as a self-fulfilling prophecy. Anxiety and rage grow quickly, resulting in overreaction that leads to the escalation of the conflict. So what can you do about it? As usual, you should turn to your masculine archetypes to ask for guidance. The king in you will try to create order so that everyone feels secure. Order refers to how you do things in your family, the values, principles, rules, and agreements that hold you securely together. The heated nature of conflicts may drag you towards chaos, but as king, you want to keep order in your family. This order comes from the question, what is the most important here? And what are our values as a family? Sometimes all you need to do is gently evoke the values of respect and kindness. When the value of family life becomes a priority, partners are willing to compromise and sacrifice some of their own needs and interests. That is how the king and queen operates: family and parenthood before selfhood. The lover in you will try to maintain connection and stay engaged rather than withdraw, attack, or threaten. The magician in you will act as the scientist who applies his curious mind to making sense of what is happening. You will ask questions to understand. A therapist can help here if it becomes too difficult for partners to resolve conflicts on their own. The warrior in you will command respect by ensuring there is no aggression towards you or your wife. When it comes to keeping the fortress safe, your role as a warrior is very important. Let me explain. The panic of the abyss is exacerbated during conflicts by threats of divorce, threats which are more commonly instigated by women. You will have to activate your warrior to tackle these threats effectively to reduce fear in your relationship. Start by realizing that threatening divorce is an act of emotional abuse. Imagine that you have a 7-year-old child whose behavior is out of control. At one point you get so angry that you say to him, "If you don't stop, I will place you in a foster family." Your child is shocked. Moments later you apologize, but the fear you have just instilled in him will linger for months to come. He feels betrayed and worried. Is his emotional state going to lead to better behavior? Sadly, such an unlikely threat to a child is commonly used between partners. The impact is not that different. The initial shock is replaced by a sense of betrayal. As warrior, you want to show zero tolerance towards any act of aggression. You do so to protect the kingdom, that is, your family and core values. You should crack down on threats of divorce. If you hear a threat of divorce, say to her, "Your threats are like emotional abuse. Never use threats again. When you're ready to separate, just send me a letter via a lawyer. Until then, let's continue to work on our issues." Remember that she may feel more contempt towards you if she sees you afraid. In my role as a couples therapist, I operate the magician by trying to see what lurks below the surface. And what I often see is that wives are using threats out of despair. Most of the time she doesn't actually mean what she's threatening and is not aware of how destructive this method is. Once you crack down on these threats, you should tend to the source of your partner's pain. Now that the warriors deflected the threat, the king, lover, and magician can help to address the issue.